Daily learning.
What I do to kill boredom when I am alone at home. When I am alone at home, I often feel a slow and heavy kind of silence that fills every corner of my house. And I can almost hear the soft sound of the clock ticking on the wall, reminding me how slowly time can move when there is nothing to do. On some days, the silence feels comforting, like a warm blanket that keeps me calm, but on other days, it feels like a fog that makes me restless. So I start looking for something to keep my hands and my mind busy. That is when I usually begin to do the things that make me feel alive again, things that help me pass the long hours in a soft and peaceful way. One of the first things I love to do when I start to feel bored is knitting. I take out my small basket filled with colorful yarns, each one soft and warm to the touch, and I choose one color that matches my mood for the day. Sometimes I go for light blue when I want to feel calm, or soft pink when I feel gentle, or maybe a deep red when I want some energy in my hands. As I start to move my knitting needles, I can hear the soft clicking sound they make with every motion, and slowly the yarn begins to take shape in my fingers. It could become a scarf, a small blanket, or sometimes just a random piece that I make without any plan, simply to enjoy the rhythm of the movement. Knitting makes me feel peaceful because it gives me something to focus on. My hands stay busy, my mind stays quiet, and I can feel time moving again in a way that feels kind. I often sit near the window where sunlight falls on my lap, and the light makes the yarn shine softly. The house feels less empty when I knit because I can hear the gentle sound of yarn sliding and needles clicking, and it feels like my thoughts are slowly being woven into the fabric. Sometimes I even lose track of time, and when I look up, the sky outside has already changed its color. That quiet shift between afternoon and evening always feels beautiful when I am sitting there with my half-finished knitting on my lap. When I feel that my eyes are tired or my fingers start to ache from knitting too long, I like to walk to the kitchen to cook something simple. Cooking gives me a new kind of energy because it involves smell, color, and taste. I open my fridge and check what ingredients I have, and then I start to think about what kind of food I want to make. It could be a small bowl of noodles, a plate of fried rice, or maybe something warm like soup. The moment I turn on the stove, I can hear the soft hiss of fire, and it always makes me feel like the house has come alive again. I like to chop vegetables slowly, feeling the rhythm of the knife against the cutting board. The smell of garlic frying in oil spreads through the air, and it always reminds me of comfort. Sometimes, when I taste the food, I smile a little, because cooking makes me feel proud in a quiet way. It feels nice to create something from simple ingredients and watch it turn into something delicious. When the food is ready, I usually eat it slowly at the dining table, sometimes looking out the window, sometimes just watching the way steam rises from the bowl. Eating something I made myself gives me a sense of satisfaction that warms my chest. After cooking, I often feel like moving my body a little, so I start cleaning the house. It sounds simple, but cleaning has its own kind of magic. When I sweep the floor or wipe the table, it feels like I am not only removing dust but also clearing my mind. I like the smell of fresh air when I open the windows, and I like to hear the sound of the broom brushing the floor. Every time I put something in its place or fold something neatly, I feel like I am putting my thoughts in order too. Sometimes I find old things while cleaning, like a photo I forgot about or a small object that used to mean something to me. When that happens, I pause for a moment and smile to myself. Cleaning often brings back small memories that make me feel connected to my past. When the floor shines and the shelves look tidy again, I can breathe more easily. The house feels lighter, and so do I. There are times when I combine all three things in one long day. I start my morning with knitting, spend my afternoon cooking something new, and then clean up the kitchen and living room in the evening. Days like that pass slowly but softly, and by night, I usually feel tired in a good way. I like to sit on the couch with my cup of warm tea and look around the room. The smell of clean air, the folded blanket, and the soft light make me realize that being alone is not always lonely. Sometimes it is a time to take care of myself and my home. When I knit, I feel patience growing in my fingers. When I cook, I feel creativity moving through my hands. When I clean, I feel peace spreading in my heart. These three activities have become small rituals that make my days brighter, especially when the world outside feels too fast or too noisy. At home, I can move slowly, listen to my own thoughts, and find joy in small things. Sometimes, while knitting, I look at the pattern I am making and imagine giving it to someone as a gift one day. I think about how nice it would feel to share something made by my own hands. When I cook, I sometimes make extra portions just in case someone visits, even if I know no one is coming. It makes me feel ready, like I am caring for someone even before they arrive. And when I clean, I imagine how nice it would feel to welcome a guest into a neat and peaceful space. In the end, spending time alone at home teaches me many things. It teaches me to be patient when my yarn gets tangled, to stay calm when my cooking goes wrong, and to be gentle with myself when I feel tired. It teaches me to enjoy the sound of silence and the comfort of doing something simple with full attention. Even when the day feels long and the house feels still, I know there are always small things I can do to make it better. My needles, my stove, and my broom, they are like quiet friends that keep me company. When I look around at the end of the day and see a piece of knitting resting on the chair, a clean floor shining under the light, and a plate of food still warm on the table, I feel a sense of calm that words cannot describe. It is a kind of happiness that comes not from excitement, but from the soft rhythm of everyday life. So whenever I am alone at home and boredom starts to whisper again, I simply smile, take a deep breath, and reach for my yarn, for my cooking spoon, or my broom. Because I know that as soon as I start moving, boredom slowly fades away, replaced by the simple joy of being alive, creating, and caring for the small world inside my home. So, that's my activity in my boredom. And what's yours?